or Robert James. I'm the founder of Helperbird, and I just want to thank so much for being invited here today, but also for everyone else for attending. This will be recorded and put up on the YouTube if you can't watch the whole thing or if you know someone who has missed it. And the way I like to do it is I will tell you a little bit about Helperbird, the history, and myself. And then we kind of jump into the features and show you all the wonderful things that Helperbird has to offer. And then we normally leave like 5 minutes towards the end if there's any questions. But I like to think that I want you to get the most out of this. So if you have any questions or wonder, does it do X or Y, please put them in the chat or even just talk. And I'll be happy to tailor this specifically for you guys. One of the reasons why is I could go on about a feature that majority of people do not care about. So we'll go get started. My name is Robert Gabriel, or Robert James. I'm originally from Ireland, and I was diagnosed with dyslexia at the age of about 15. And before that point, I had struggled with school quite a bit. I was disinterested. My handwriting was getting poor. I hated doing work. And there were signs of dyslexia from an early age, but I just kind of fell through the cracks because of lack of funding in Ireland. But that all came to a head at the age of 15 during a parent-teacher meeting where my English teacher told my parents that I should consider I should be pulled out and put into a trade school because to end my suffering. And my parents turned into Mama and Papa Bear, and they had meetings with the principal. He said that we can't get him tested for anything because he's too old, and they would rather spend the money on newer students coming in. And when I look back at it now, I get that if you didn't have the budget, that was probably the right thing to do. But my parents persisted and got to school to get me funding. And to shock to no one, I had dyslexia. And once I was diagnosed, I was able to get the support I needed from extra time, extra schoolwork, but also more importantly, software that my parents couldn't really afford. And once I had all that, my grades improved dramatically. I started becoming more confident. I loved school. I loved hanging out, learning more. And this moment always stuck with me because I discovered computers at the same time and fell into a love of passion with it. And I won the school a couple of months later, about €8,000, $10,000. And that money got to go towards helping others and getting them tested and accessibility software that the school couldn't afford. And that moment really stuck with me. And I fast forward, went into college, and during the first month of an internship doing software engineering, I was told to make whatever I wanted so I could get familiar with what was happening, from the schoolwork to the workplace to kind of up the standard. And I made a Chrome extension for myself, which changed every web page to Open Dyslexia. And that was just to help myself. I built it over a weekend, uploaded it, and thought nothing of it. About a month later, it had 2,000 users, and this was in 2016. And then about a year later, it had 10,000, and I started getting more and more requests for more features, adding more tools. And then I went back to college, finished, and then the urge of wanting to help others kept happening. So I took a 6-month sabbatical and decided to travel and work on Helperbird, and it has now grown to 1.4 million people using it monthly around the world, from enterprises, school districts, and everything in between. And what is Helperbird is the big question. Helperbird now is an accessibility or accessive technology where it's a Chrome extension, a iOS app, and an Android app that allows you to tailor web pages and documents to your own needs. It also offers productivity stuff such as word prediction, voice typing, text to speech with natural voices. It has a immersive reader built in, and we plan to give all the tools possible for students and individuals to kind of make the most out of their needs. So we kind of level the playing ground. We're very similar to other accessible technologies, and we like to think we offer more because they're all in one app instead of several different apps. Helperbird is available on Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Microsoft Edge, Safari, both on the desktop, inside iPhones and iOS, such as iPad. It needs to be running iOS 14 or higher. We also have it on Google Docs, Google Slides, anywhere you mention where Helperbird is there. We do have plans for an Android app, but we're still working with Google to define limitations and things like that. Helperbird offers one of the other more important things about Helperbird, and this is the last thing before I jump into the features, is that we take privacy very, very seriously. We do no tracking of any kind. Everything that the student or individual does stays on the machine, meaning settings, emails, everything like that stays on the machine. It's not stored on a third-party server. We use no tracking software of any kind. So we're compliant with majority of laws. Of course, as new laws happen, we review them and make sure that we're compliant with those as well. And then in terms of security, we also do checks all the time as well. And in terms of pricing, Helperbird offers a free version, which has tons of great features, which I'll show as we demonstrate. And then an individual subscription is $40 per year, and there's no extra add-ons or anything. $40 is for everything. And then we also have school pricing and district pricing, and they are often like bundles to help reduce costs as well. And in terms of support, we offer help docs at every feature with text, with step-by-step guides. We have our YouTube channel, which if you go onto helperbird.com, you can find everything here. And I think with that, that's enough of me and my Irish accent. I'm going to kind of jump in and show you some of our popular features. And of course, if there's any questions or anything, just please mention it. And as it was mentioned in the chat, please raise your hand or put a question in the chat as well, and I'll keep an eye out for those. So I'm going to share my screen. So just one moment. And I'm going to show you the Google Docs, the Google Chrome version. So I was going to hide that, and now we're going to put this into focus. So as you can see here, 2 seconds, I have 3 tabs open, and I'm going to show you 3 different features as we walk along. I'm going to refresh this so it's brand new. We have Google Docs, and the very first feature I'm going to show is actually, I forgot to mention too, everyone who attends here, I'm going to give a free Helperbird Pro subscription for 12 months for everyone who attends. It'll be emailed to you after. So you can try all these wonderful features out. So to begin, we have Helperbird installed, which is on the top right-hand corner. Like with any Chrome extension, it'll be located either under the puzzle piece, and you can pin it, which will be available up here. So once you click it, you're welcomed to the Helperbird app, which is, our quick actions area, which is our most popular features, but you could also add more features if you wish, so you don't always have to scroll. And then along here are different text options, styles and colors, rulers, reading mode. Then we have like speed reading, we have text to speech, paragraph, overlays, rulers, auto scrolling, text to speech, voice typing, word prediction, OCR or extracting text, which I'll show off in a moment, highlighters, translations in multiple languages, screenshotting tools, change the cursor size, color blindness features, hide images and flashing images, image descriptions and hovers, videos, high contrast filters, such as, for example, increased contrast and off. And then we have accessibility options such as like reduce motion, spell check, and edit a website, keyboard shortcuts. And then we have a series of kind of tools here as well, such as like a PDF reader, an ebook reader, our notes, where we can create sticky notes and view them all from here, our dictionary, our reading list, and then even a kind of a Google Docs editor as well. But first, just while we're here, I'm going to turn it off, but I'm going to turn on our word prediction. And then on Google Docs, I'm going to start typing. Now you can see along the bottom here, a toolbar with suggestions are starting to appear. And I can click help and we'll start reading it out. But if I say helpful, oh, I have this is a development version, so my apologies. So if we type help so we can pick different versions and different words, and then we can go. Okay, so we have a little issue here, but this is on our newer version. But as you can see, as it starts picking it out, and we can choose and close it away. And one of the things about the newer version of Helperbird is, this is just released last night, is that we found that users were finding it annoying or hard to access Helperbird, in the sense that you always have to click here, open up the menu, make your setting. But what you can do now is you can throw on our side panel. And what our side panel does is it always makes sure that the tools are available here at all times. So if we go back to our other tab, it's always available. So for example, just as I'm speaking, questions come in. With all data saved on individual device, if a user has more than one device, do the settings not sync across? Yes. So that's a great question. So the one thing that we take advantage of is that if your district or individual has it on, which is on by default, we take advantage of, it's called sync inside Google. You can see here, sync is on. What that means is that your individual settings inside the extension will travel to your other browser as long as you're signed in with the same email. This is all sandboxed and within Chrome itself. So you can turn this off or on, but everything stays local to your browser to browser. So if I turn on, say, color different fonts, it will also stay on my other device once it syncs up. And the one thing, and just to show you that, is if I click on Helperbird again, and I came along to our text adjustments, and I chose the Open Dyslexic Bold as the font here. When I go on to, say, my school computer with the same email, that setting will also be applied. And from this is a kind of a great starting off point, is with our text adjustments feature, we can change the fonts to one that suits my needs and personalities. And this will follow me from tab to tab as well. So one of our most popular ones for especially dyslexia is like our Open Dyslexic, but also our Alexind, which is here. And then on top of that, we can do like text adjustment sizes. We can make it as big or as small as we wish. We can do word spacing, make it bigger, smaller. We can do letter spacing. And some of these seem extreme, but it just shows the level of customization that we offer for Helperbird in terms of customizing web pages, line heights, text alignments. We can choose right, justified, unjustified, center, and left. That's a great question. So just a follow-up is, does it sync using Chrome and iOS app? No, at the moment, no, but we are working with both Apple and Google to allow that feature to happen. So at the moment, if a student had a desktop browser, such as say Chrome, and then they went over to the iOS app, the settings would not sync at the moment. But that is a feature that we are working with both of them to hopefully come with a middle ground. So at the moment, there will be two different settings. But you can export the data and manually import it, but that's not feasible for the majority of, especially younger kids, to do, and from usability as well. But it is something we are working on. Our next one, for example, for here is our reading mode feature. What reading mode does is it removes all distractions and navigations, and this allows you to have a clean, like, reading page. So I'm going to go over to our Helperbird one and click view in reading mode. And you can see in a second, it brings me up the page in a nice clean layout with text that I can also customize, but also gives me the reading time. And then when I'm done, I can just click close, but I can open it up again. And this will work on every page. And from here, we can access our text to speech. So I'm going to click play. I'm not sure if you could hear that at the bottom because of how Zoom works. Sometimes you can hear it, sometimes you don't, but it read the selected text and read it out. I can also pause and stop. I can even translate the page or the text that I selected. I'll follow that up in 1 second. You can also share it on social media or email it to an individual. You can use full screen, and you can also close it. And a question that came in is, can this be used with digital text sources with specific readers like Vital Source, Red Shelf, digital textbooks from Pension and Crack Hill? That's a great question. The majority of time, yes, but if you find that a specific site isn't, or digital textbook isn't working, if you let a support staff member know, we normally get support out within a week. You could also, if the source allows it, download the PDF and manually put it into Helperbird, and we have complete control over it then. So the answer is majority of the time, yes, but if you find that it isn't working, you let us know and we'll make it our priority. And just speaking of that, I actually might go into that section as open our PDF and ebook reader. So we have it built in. You can see it follows very similar. We can open up a PDF. We're going to open up the first Harry Potter. And I'll just make this a little bigger just to demonstrate. And you can see we have our Helperbird settings on the right here. We also have the PDF. And we can scroll through and we can have it, select text, click play. We can also turn on our reading ruler, which we can customize more in a second. We can turn it off. We can add our overlay if we wish. We can translate, and we can even open it up in Immersive Reader as well. So you can select the whole text or the page. And for people who mightn't be familiar, Immersive Reader is a set of technology from Microsoft, and we are very happy to partner with them to enable Immersive Reader on any web page. If you're using Helperbird on PDFs, anything that's in the browser, you can access Immersive Reader in Google Docs, Firefox, iOS with Helperbird. And just to go briefly through some of the features, you can also click play, change the voice settings here from male, female, and the speed. You can also adjust the text sizes and colors. You can also show the nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs as well, and show labels, and show synonyms. And one of my favorite things is if you click on it, it'll actually show you a picture dictionary of the word as well. Does this work? Just a question that popped up. Does this work with Overdrive and Libby Library? Yes, it should. Last time we checked, but of course, as people adapt and change, we keep in sync, but I'll actually check that with the team after. Last time I checked, it did. Of course, there's new versions that come out. We also have line focus. And one of my personal favorites is you can actually translate the book or a document as well. So as you can see, it's now translated. And if we click on it, it will actually show you the translated version and how to pronounce it, but also the original copy as well. And then when we're done, we can just click exit, and then we're back to our PDF as everything else was normal. And then of course we can go back and read it through. We can read the whole page, and it does it a page at a time. And I do. Thank you. I'll check that real quick. Thank you. 2 seconds. This is one of the things. Share computer sound. Thank you so much. Just 1 second. I will go over that again because the text to speech is a very. If someone could write in the chat, hear this, that would be great.
Celebrating bonfire night.
Can you hear that okay? More. Excellent. Okay, so I might just go over that very briefly again. So thank you so much. So I'm going to just select a 3-word sentence, and I'm going to open up the Immersive Reader again. And then from here, we can click play.
Bonfire night owl.
And we can, of course, change the speed, and we can change it to a male voice.
Bonfire night owl.
And that's just some of the text-to-speech options. Again, this was similar, but I'm going to show you more as we get to our own text-to-speech options with our different voices. Thank you for highlighting that. That's a new trick I've learned. So I was going to put the chat over here. I'll just put it right nice and center. So our next one is that we can translate a whole page. So if we click translate page, you can see it's changed to Bulgarian. And then, of course, we can translate it to different languages as well. Just more options. This works on every web page, but also PDFs and selected text as well. And when we're done, we can close. And then our next kind of default app here is our highlighter menu. And what our highlighter menu does, when enabled, it allows you to select any text. So we'll say, welcome to Helperbird. And it gives you different options, such as play.
Welcome to Helperbird.
We can play, pause, stop. We can translate. We can open up Immersive Reader with the selected text or the whole page. Then from here, we also have a highlight, an analyze. So when we click it, it'll tell us how many words and characters are in the highlighted text. We also have a highlighter, which I'll come back to in a moment. We also have a dictionary and even a web search. So if you wanted to, we could select Helperbird and click web search, and it just opens up a new tab from here. Just a nice quick shortcut if they were doing more research. Then if we have a dictionary, so we're going to pick, we'll say the word mission and click dictionary. And it brings up the nouns, how to use it in a sentence, the verbs, adjectives, and if it has the ability, more options as well. This supports English at the moment, but we have plans for Spanish, French, and German as well. So that is great. Now we're going to go to our next one. From here in Helperbird, we can add a quick action menu, which again, we can add more features. So I'm going to highlight a few, which is our summarize page, which is very popular. And our OCR, so our extract text. So now that I have these enabled, I'm going to say summarize page for me, and I click it. And you can see within seconds, it will use our offline tooling to determine what we think are the most important sentences or the most important highlights in this page. It normally summarizes into 4 to 8 different bullet points. And it's just very handy for kind of getting a quick grasp of a long document or PDF. Then our next one is our extract text. Sometimes people call it an OCR. We kind of name it both, and we're still determining what people prefer to call it. If you're not familiar with an OCR, it means optimal character recognition, or in simpler terms, it allows you to extract text from images or videos, kind of like what the new iOS does. So when we click extract text, it will close the app, and then we can say, well, we're just going to select here. We'll say extracting. It might take a second. It will save it to your clipboard, but it will also, if you allow it to, save it as a sticky note. So now that I have it saved, I'm going to go and use our search and go to our text to speech. I'm going to paste it in here. And you can see it is brought up welcome to Helperbird. And when I click play, sorry, just
welcome to Helperbird.
You can see it's highlighted the text as I read it. We have pause, play, and stop. And of course, we have options down here. We have different voices, and quite a few. We have over 30 different voices. And one great thing about Helperbird is that once you save your voice, it will appear everywhere within the app that has text-to-speech options. So you set it once, it will appear everywhere. And one of the great things is you might notice little flags, such as Alice here, which is an Italian voice. If you are reading text in Italian on the page and choose the Alice voice, it will try to pronounce it in Italian, not an English voice trying to pronounce or speak in Italian, which is normally very poor or mispronunciation. And of course, we have different options, of course, for everyone's type. And the great thing is that if you have a custom voice installed on the machine or another app that might have a voice, we can take advantage of it as long as it's installed on the page. We can also adjust speed, pitch, volume, and then we can also choose the color. So if we click play again,
welcome to Helperbird.
You can see the voice is dramatically different. And then with our side panel view, we can make it as big or as small as you want. And just while we're here, over next to each feature is our options, and we can add this to our quick actions menu. There's a support video and also how to use it as well. So just giving you more tools of how to use everything. So that's our text to speech. And again, if you access in the PDF reader or in another tool, they're also there. Is there any questions so far about any features we offer? Because we have so many, I might need to just highlight over a few. But just please let me know in the chat. And what I'll do is I'll just go through these. We have our voice typing, which generates a kind of a floating toolbar here. And depending on the setup, this mightn't work because the Zoom is taking my voice, but we'll give it a shot. We'll click allow. Hello, my name is Robert. Oh, it's not because of the tool. Oh, here we go. Hello, my name is Robert. I hope everything works okay. So we can stop it and go at any time, which is great. And we can close it and it sits in the background waiting to be needed. Then our next ones are our styles. We can justify colors. Yes, I'll bring this into Google Slides and Google Docs in just one moment. I'll just fly through this pretty quickly. We can change the colors of any page and this will follow. We can change the links from, say, highlighted ones that I visited and change the color pages I have visited before to different colors. So I can quickly distinguish what pages I've clicked and which ones I haven't. I can change the background colors. We have several different types of rulers. We have our common dyslexia ruler. We can have it follow our cursor, have it at a fixed position. We can change the height. We can change the width. And of course, we can change the color. Then we have our reading guide, which follows our toolbar along like a fixed position. And then from here, we have our line focus, which adds an overlay. And then when I highlight, it makes it transparent. And I can also choose the transparency color of that as well. Then we have our reading mode, which I showed already, but you can customize the colors, the text, the links, the background colors, and even the card color as well. We have a zoom, which we can zoom in and out of the page to our own needs. We have our speed reading. So the way the speed reading works is that it will take one word at a time and show it. But we could also have it show the phonics. So when we're in that color, and we can click play, it'll extract the text. I can see, I'll pause it and say next word. I can see it tries to show you how to pronounce it, Helperbird. And we can go back a word, we can go forward a word, we can change the words per minute, the colors, and we can even enable bold mode, which will, when it enables to pick like a middle letter and make it a different color. So this is a very popular feature and very handy to use, especially with quick learners, quick readers as well. We have our overlays. We can choose the brightness and the darkness. We have our paragraphs, which we can see customize and make them into easier chunks, change the background width and the columns of them. And from here, we have our auto scrolling, which is very great for reading. We have our text to speech, which I showed. We have our voice typing, our word prediction with French, German, Spanish, and Portuguese. We have our extract text. So we have two options here. We can have it read out selected text for us automatically, and we can even have it save it to our notes section, which I'll show the notes section in one moment. We also have our highlighter, which I'm going to demonstrate in one moment. We have our translation, which we can translate the whole page to. We can take a screenshot. You can see automatically, and that includes any settings I had on the page. We can adjust the cursor size to different sizes. We have our color blindness, which one adds different colors under links. We have our text stroke, which adds stroke around text. We have our saturation, which we can make pages more extreme saturation or normal. Well, we'll go back to the home page just to show you something here. We have a hide images, hide all images, hide show descriptions. We have video controls. And one of the things to highlight with the video controls is that it allows you to quickly, like say on YouTube, you have it set to 25% speed playback. You go into Netflix, you have to reset that. But this, we will honor it the whole time. Meaning once you set it, you won't have to redo it on every website. We have our high contrast modes, for different options. Then, of course, we have our reduce motion, which will kill animations and like feedback. We have our spell check, which offers basic spelling and grammar, but we are looking at adding Microsoft Editor, which is their version of Grammarly, once we're confident that it does everything offline. We can edit a website, which is very handy for teachers. So we're going to enable this. And this allows us to, we'll go to this paragraph to actually edit the page. So you could do, say, fill in the gaps and print this page off and allow a student to work away from there. We have keyboard shortcuts, and we also have a print. And there's two features I'm going to show very briefly before we go on to the Google Slides, and then I'll leave it open to questions and answers. Is our sticky notes, which allows you to quickly generate a sticky note on the page. And this will stay. We can write hello. We can also have it like play back to us. We can also have it see all our sticky notes from different pages. We can visit them. And you can see here, we have our page saved here too. And then we can delete them. And we can go back onto the page, and you can see here's our sticky note from earlier. We can change the colors. We can close them down as well and change the size. So it just allows you to create sticky notes and view them all at a different point as well. And then just a few of our other apps which are PDF Reader, which we showed, our notes, our dictionary, our reading list, which you can create pages and add them to your reading list and come back to them later with the timestamp and the date. You can also search and filter out through them as well. And then our last one down here is our editor. We know majority of people are going to use Microsoft Word or Google Docs. But as you use Helperbird, you'll start gathering information and documents and stuff using our fantastic tools. So we built is a small editor from here, and you can open up existing documents, create new ones. You can also save, copy, delete. But most importantly, you can import notes that you've created or highlights or text to speech, drag them in, and depending on your settings, do different types of Harvard referencing and such. You can also see where that page was from. And it makes it easier for gathering your notes and creating small snippets of documents. Of course, we have our standard editing tools up here. But the more important thing is you can download them to a Word file, a Markdown file, a Google Docs, or even a text file, and then import them into your editor of choice, meaning you could just do a quick little notes here or sticky notes and then import them into the profile that you actually want. And then I just want to make sure I have everything before we switch over to Google Docs. And oh yeah, and then of course, one of our new features, just to highlight some of our other things, is that we have a reset Helperbird, which will wipe all settings and start afresh. But we also have links to our what's new, our help guides, or to access the side panel, which is here. We can check subscription, which just in case it goes out of sync. But more importantly, we have exam mode. Some of the text to speech, and of course like word prediction and like OCR tools that are determined for reading. And then we make it pink to make it more standoutable, especially if a teacher walks by and sees that, hey, that's yellow, they're not in exam mode. And then of course we can turn it on and off whenever we choose when we're finished. So there are all the main features of Helper. There's tons of more to go through. It's just a matter of finding which ones you like. Oh, just before I forgot, the highlighter. So on this page here, we'll go back to the Helperbird one. We'll select this line here. We'll highlight it. Our highlighter tool will come up. Our tooltip menu will come up, and then we'll click highlight. Oh, sorry, I clicked away. We'll click highlight. And if we refresh, Oh, there might be something up, and this is a developer build, so my apologies. If you tried the fresh one, it should work okay. But we'll have a look into that, and we'll try it one more time just in case. Yeah, there's something up in my local build here, but we'll determine that after. So now we're going to go on very quickly to our Google Docs add-on. So we can see down here, we can open up Google Docs. Just might take it, I'll close down here. And for Google Docs and Google Slides, Google has requested all majority of kind of Chrome extensions to develop their own Google Docs add-on. So majority of our features up here will work, but some of them will not, just because of the way Google Docs has changed from a HTML-based to a kind of a alert one here. So it'll tell you and prompt you to download the add-on. I started just a quick question here. What's my email? My email is robert.gabriel@helperbird.com, or if you go to the live chat on helperbird.com, you'll probably get through directly to me today or another member of staff. But once you have the Google Docs add-on, you can change all the text to, say, a open dyslexic font. You could also access immersive reader and our text-to-speech options as well. This goes the same for Google Slides and Google Forms as well. So it's like a small brother version that gives you some of the majority of features, which we're constantly updating, but you could also use it in conjunction with our big boy, our main extension as well. So just to walk you through that, once you have it installed, your IT admin has installed it, you can click extensions, find Helperbird, click open. It might take a second. And also from here is like, if we select text, I'll run through that in 1 second, Kim. So if we click view immersive reader, it will take a second. You can see we've accessed immersive reader in here, and you can click play.
Help.
Yeah, and then you have their text to speech options down here as well. And one of the nicer things is if we change, say hello, help, hello, we can actually like replace in document as well. Sometimes it has to make sure. So Kim just asked, what is the cost of this? We are a Google district, so I would be using this in Google and web pages. So the cost is, we have a free version of Helperbird, which offers, as we call, the basic core features, such as some of the text to speech, the word adjustments, text adjustments, immersive reader up to 1,000 characters per use. Meaning if you highlight over 1,000 characters, it will put a limit on it, but you could always highlight smaller chunks, and along with, I think, 12 other features. Then the Pro version is $40 per student per year. There's no extra add-ons or costs. And then we have a kind of a school and a district license. The school one is unlimited users per school. And then, of course, if a district wished to use a district license, it would be a bit more, but it would allow for all users in the schools within a district as well. And the great thing that if you're using Microsoft Outlook or even Google G Suite or admin, is that we do it based on the domain. So anyone who has a school domain will automatically get the features, and rollout takes a couple of minutes. But more about this can be found at helperbird.com/pricing. Everyone here today gets a full free 12 months as part of Helperbird trainers. And of course, thanks for inviting me. And yeah, and everyone here gets the Pro version on us as a thank you for trying it out. And of course, if you had feedback, please let me know. And I was using an early build here, so some features that weren't acting as expected will be working perfectly on the live version. And the other thing too is, if you have any feedback or anything, please let us know. We're always updating. We do an update every 2 weeks, adding more features and feedback as we go as well. I'm trying to think of it. Is there any other questions, or feedback just as we wrap up here, because I don't want to go over people's time. or anything people would like to see again. And if not, that's totally okay too. So there's two questions that came here. One from Don. It says, how well does it work in Google Slides with the various text boxes, etc.? Yeah, of course. So 2 seconds. I think this is the URL. Yeah. Sorry, 2 seconds. I'm just going to open up a fresh one. So just as mentioned earlier, some of the features of the main extension won't work just based on how Google has sandboxed some of the features. But of course, we have the Google Docs and Slides add-on, which is accessible from here. And we're also adding more and more support. So if some features are missing from here, you just let us know. But the majority of it works is by selecting the text, and then you could access it in an immersive reader. You could change the font to a dyslexic style or friendly font, which in the majority of cases is Lexant. As you can see, it's after switching it. And because I have it highlighted, I can view in immersive reader here as well. And then I have access to all those tools. And I also have options for our own text to speech here as well. We are adding more. So if there's any priority features you'd like us to add, please let us know and we'll add more as we come. But at the majority of time, this is what people would like in Slides and Google Docs. And the one thing to note here is with the Google Docs and Google Slides, it's completely free. You don't need to sign in or log in for the Google Docs and Google Slides add-on. And that's the way it will always be as well. And then the extension is where some of the features are limited off. And then another question that came in was Julia, sorry. I really like the enlarged cursor. Can you change the color of it? At the moment, no, but that's a great idea. So we'll actually look to get that added in this week. We'll add different options for coloring as well. Kind of similar how we do with the text adjustments where you can choose different colors, but I really like that idea. But at the moment, it's just the size from small to extra large. Is there any other questions or anything people would like me to go over again? So I'll just log out. And if people were wondering how to log in at the start is when you first download it, they'll ask you to log in here. And we click login. And you can see we get the confetti, meaning we've logged in successfully and found a subscription. And then if we open up the app, we have access to everything once again. Yes, of course, different states have different priorities, but in 99% of the cases we are. But if you have any questions specifically about that, if you reach out, we can check per state, because I know different states have different rules, but in 99% of the cases, yes, because we actually don't track or store anything besides within the browser itself. But we will always be happy to review any data compliance sheets or data signature sheets as well, just to confirm that. Do students need to log in to utilize it? That's a great question. No, they don't. There's two ways. So one, to use the free version, you don't actually need to log in. If you're a paid pro user, you can log in. And the way we use our login is that we use the email that you're signed into your browser with. Of course, that does not leave the browser. It just verifies the domain against our server side as well, but nothing is actually stored there. And if a student is using part of say a school package or a district package, we just verify the domain there as well, not the actual full email. And if you sign up, you get a subscription key as well, which also can be used to verify a pro subscription. But nothing is actually stored on our side. It's verified and nothing is stored even in temporary memory. But that's a great question. So in short answer is we do not store, track, or take any student information or any user's information at all. A question from Tammy just came in. Are there any types of web pages that might not work for the integration between login and not? Some features will be locked behind like what we call like a paywall if you're not logged in. Majority of pages will work in the browser, but if you find out that a web page is not acting correctly, if you contact us, we can look into it and get it fixed immediately. But no, the majority of time, if you're not logged in and you're using a feature that is part of the free package, it will work. And if you're offline, for example, this is a new added support, all our features will work offline as well. And it will check, do you have a subscription every 12 hours about that time. So you might come into a gray area where you've gone past the 12 hours and it hasn't not able to check yet. So it might fall back to the free version, but once you reconnect, it will, and click check subscription, it will allow you then. And that's all the features too. Is there any other last questions that anyone would like to answer, for me to answer, or just talk away with my Irish accent? And if not, that's totally okay. And everyone here will be getting an email after with a free subscription code as well. Oh, I'm delighted you're looking forward to it. And of course, as we like to say, you know, some people have iPhones, some people have Android, some people have Ford, some people have Volkswagen. So we're just another tool, and we understand that we like to think you're going to fall in love with Helperbird, but it is a great tool to know to try out with your students or staff as well. Yes, there will be a recording available, I believe, on YouTube after. And of course, if you follow Helperbird on Twitter and social media, we're going to repost it as well once the link is available. And of course, we also do giveaways all the time. So it would be recommended following us on Twitter or any social media. And thank you so much for everyone for attending. I'm just going to hang out until everyone leaves, just in case there's any questions in the chat, but I'll type away those. And of course, if you have any questions, you can also follow us up after on helperbird.com.